All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the workshop, December 9th, 2024, the Montezuma County Commission. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to hear from some of our departments, and then we're going to throw in, along with those same people, James Dietrich and Dustin Sattler, when it was their turn to give us a report on the noxious weeds and also the janitorial bids when we come to that. So we'll start it off with Sheriff Nowlin.
Good afternoon. What we had this last quarter, just to let you know that our jail populations are going from anywhere from 55 to 65 number of inmates is an average. Today we have 60. Weekends are the heaviest, where we'll get anything over 10, and then they're released within 48 hours. Meetings I had with the court judges last week pretty much put us all on notice that they're going to start increasing the jail population by not allowing some of these people to bond with some of these reduced bonds, especially those PR bonds and whatnot. This apparently is a result of what happened in the metro areas earlier this year or this fall, according to the judges, that the senior judges were releasing people left and right, and it created such a problem that they don't want to do that here. So I've been pretty much put on notice that our jail population is going to increase. I just want you to know that we are doing a cost analysis for the jail for this year. I would anticipate that those costs, as you all know, is going to increase. Looking at trying to increase the cost per inmate per day, it could be as high as $150 a day. The problem that we have, like we've discussed in the past, is that that's only for Dolores County and municipalities that bring people in. If they bring them in on state charges, I don't know what we're going to be able to do. We're still stuck with those costs. I was also informed by the judges that a lot of these, apparently they've had 3 in the past 6 months where they have, with a medical release, have released these people for medical treatments and whatnot, and they were given a PR bond. They're no longer in custody. They were supposed to return back for court and have failed to do so. And therefore, I don't think the judges are going to be letting anybody out for any medical treatments unless it happens to be something that is more of a dire need or an emergency need, which could also put us in kind of a precarious liability situation where I've got somebody that has to have some medical treatment, but the Southwest Memorial Hospital here is not treating anybody here. They're sending everybody out. Then if they send anybody out, we're going to have to make sure that we get them back. And that may mean that I have to send somebody out there to make sure, because the hospitals do not release any information about when these patients are going to be released. And they walk away. And he doesn't want, all 3 of them don't want this to happen. And I certainly understand that. So that's one thing that is something to look forward for this year.
Is this kind of like what's going on in La Plata County?
Yes. Yeah. Something to think about. I want to see how that's going to work out, to be honest with you.
Right, because La Plata County told Durango they weren't accepting any more of their inmates.
Yeah. 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 I don't know how that's going to pan out. But you know what? Could be what we have to do. These costs are not going to go down.
No.
You've already seen the food costs are going sky high. Okay?
Those are the
everything
ones
else.
that homeless
Yeah,
people that drink.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that we can keep our costs down. But I'll tell you, this is what we're faced with. Transports are increasing, as you've all seen. That's not going to go away, unfortunately. Juvenile crimes, we are working out with the probation department. The state judicial department under CDYC has given another $38,000 to them for juvenile housing. Now, the San Juan County Juvenile Detention Facility in Farmington is where we have used short-term juvenile detention from Colorado for trials here. We're in the process of seeing if we can get San Juan County commissioners and that board to accept where we can actually transport these juveniles from here to Farmington, so it would save us from having to take them to Grand Junction if there's even a bed, because CYC has reduced the number of beds. We're down to one that we can take up to Grand Junction. Our juvenile crimes are increasing. And we're all the agencies here in Cortez and Mancos, we're all faced with the same thing, is that we now have a juvenile that we're looking for now that is under an arrest warrant from Cortez PD. They may not have a facility to put that person in. So it's one of those things that if we can get this worked out, it'd be a whole lot better. And it was not that expensive at all for them to house these juveniles there. So we're working on it.
All right, if there's anything we can do, talking to them or anything, let us know.
I will. You'll be the first ones to know. Okay. That's about all I have right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Coroner Deavers.
Well, good afternoon. Travis has my numbers up there on the board. This year has been a great year. First time numbers have gone down since 2000, well, it's gone backwards. It's the first year since I've been in 12 years that it's gone backwards. Every year's increased except for this year. So our numbers are down. The last time we were this low for this time of year is 2015, which is awesome. Well, I like seeing that. But the types of deaths we're having are kind of staying the same. As you can look, motor vehicle accidents were down 1 from last year for fatals. Actually would be down a couple more because 2 of those were from aviation accident. Suicides, I'm 1 under last year. Overdoses, I'm right there together. The exposure, I had 1 hypothermic death from heat, and then the other 2 were hypothermic. The other was hypothermia. And then homicides, we cut that in half this year. So it's been a good year all the way around. So it's the first time in the last 6 years I've actually been caught up to where I'm not behind. So it's been nice. Just hope it stays that way.
Yeah. Gerald, you have any questions? Pardon me. All right. Thank you,
Okay.
George.
You guys stay warm.
Oh, yeah. Rob, Road and Bridge man.
Hello.
Afternoon.
So, Road and Bridge, we've transitioned into our winter work activities. We're mowing some right-of-ways, some trimming some trees. Today they're over in Mancos area. We'll be back over in Cortez and headed down McCamel Canyon later this week to do that type of work. We're still doing some light blading in areas that we can get away with it. Water is the biggest driver on that, lack of. And so where we have mag chloride and we have potholes, we try to rub the worst of them out with the little bit of water that we have. But we are working on these roads, so if you get a call about rough roads, well, let me know and we'll see if we can fit them in somewhere. We are gonna start working on some of those roads out north of Lewis, the dirt roads, pulling the back slopes in and getting the crowns built up. And then if we have some time this year, we'll try to do some graveling on some of those out there. First time gravel, base type gravel. We do wanna do some work on 21 and DD, put a little bit of smaller gravel cap on it. Next week, we'll get the trucks out there and do that. And of course, if it snows, we move snow. But right now, the weather's in favor to keep doing some construction type work, so. Didn't make a trip down Road 41 last week. Stephen and I went down to look at the fencing. It is mostly gone. There is about 2,800 feet, or roughly 2,000 foot of still there. We'll have to go down and see if it's gone this week. I'm not sure what their plan is, whether it's gonna go away or move back, but I'll keep you posted. But they do have most of it out of there. And we have been bringing a blade up along behind them, you know, give them a week or so and then go clean up what mess they left and get the road where they can plow snow this winter. So it's looking pretty good now. If we can get a few more H braces pulled out and gate posted in our easement, we'll be in pretty good shape. Road 25, 184 intersection, we had a little kickoff meeting. They're gonna set up traffic counts tomorrow on Road 25 to get us 48 hours of a count to see what that will do to get a permit from CDOT to enter their easements and work in their right-of-ways and help them design that intersection and get started on that. The engineer that'll be doing that's coming off the job now. That person's free. Will be able to devote their time to this job now full-time and get that all designed and ready to go. Hopefully that'll give us enough information real quick here. We can start negotiating with the landowner to purchase the land. Also some cut fill information I need for balance. Maybe we can borrow some dirt from the landowner, maybe do some trading that way for more area for storage or whatever in that area. So kind of just working that through now for the next 30 days. So other than that, just kind of just doing what we can do while the weather's still good. So
I think you're gonna have good weather for a while.
I'd at least like to say Christmas, at least, you know,
Yeah.
that'd be nice to have Christmas Day and then we can snow, you know, so. But it does look good for the next 2 weeks, so.
All right,
That's it.
thank you.
You bet.
Talk a little bit about noxious weeds and a cost share program. Mr. Dietrich.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'll kind of give you a basic rundown before we jump into the cost share thing. The Phreatophyte project, we're currently waiting for NRCS to do the certification on that. We've done everything we can do at our end on that. The landowner is supportive of releasing partial payments on that, so she's advocating for us on that too. But again, it's up to NRCS when they get the certification done, and that probably will not be till sometime in the spring. Last time I visited with the commissioners, I mentioned we had a truck that was down. It was a pretty expensive repair. That fuel pump was about $800. I did talk to Shane about that, and he felt like that was probably the best truck we had available for that program. It needed to be repaired to be able to drive the thing at all. So anyway, we went ahead with that repair. We've got that truck rolling, and I think that'll be a good truck for the program. We plan to keep that unless something else comes up, and we're always adaptable. Wanted to let the commissioners know I've got Russell working on as much of the outreach as he can possibly do at this time. You know, of course, he started fairly late in the game, so next year we're hoping things will work better. But he has been able to go out and make some presentations, in particular to the Master Land Stewardship Program. So he went and gave a lecture for their workshop and then also the Master Gardener's Lunch. And so he's been able to do a little bit of the outreach, educational outreach, and that'll be his focus really for next year also. One of the other things I want to let the commissioners know is that we found a few patches of yellow blue stem grass in the county. This was on the state noxious weed watch list. So we found a couple of them. They're mostly located along Highway 160. There were some down by the Fairgrounds, and around the flume. I had him spray the stuff around the flume because we maintain the flume. That's really our facility in a very small area around it. So he sprayed what's in there, and he mapped all the rest of it. So it does appear to be moving up and down the highways. We'll keep an eye on that for the other right-of-ways that we've got, and try to figure out how we can work with people to keep a handle on that. He's also been doing, as much mapping as he could get done. Of course, he got a fairly late start in that, but he's been out doing some mapping. He's worked with the GIS department on that. We've got a pretty good little in-house program set up. So I think what we can do is drop the contract that we have with AgTerra, which is about $500 a year. So we'll drop that. He can make it work with the information he's got. And again, they've set him up with a pretty good little program. We can handle it in-house pretty well. If it looks like after next year we need AgTerra again, we can go back and revisit that. But I say we try a year without that. It'll save us at least $500. Then he's also been working on a couple of the surveys. CDA sent out some surveys. In particular, they're worried about the ventanata grass. I probably didn't pronounce that correct. But that's another one that's on the invasive species watch list. They're thinking about moving that to the A species. We're not aware of any of it in Montezuma County. There are some counties up north that have it, so we'll kind of keep an eye on this. And again, we'll focus on the vectors that are most likely, roadways being one of them. And then we come back around to the cost share portion of the program. So last year we have 151 discrete records. Of course, some of those folks have come back more than once. There's been a handful of them, maybe 6 or 8 folks that have come back more than once. So, and we've treated a gross of about 5,000 acres, a little over that. So pretty much right on par with what we did last year. I'm working on the new 2025 CDA application. It's due Monday the 16th. And that is the cost share grant application, again, that we're bringing forward to you. We're asking for $20,000 this year. That's what we had budgeted. And that was the same amount we had last year also. And again, I do want to make sure the commissioners know that is a 1-to-1 match. So we lay out $20,000. We're expected, we're asking for $20,000. We're expected to lay out $20,000. So. Okay. And I guess that kind of completes the report. And I guess the commissioner would like me to come back tomorrow and to go through the CDA cost share application sheet. Is that how we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably
Sounds good.
better.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Probably best.
Okay. Well, I'll see you all tomorrow then.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
All right. Let's hear from the landfill. Mr. Jarmon.
All right, Travis, you should have got an email from this morning. Should have forwarded it on to you commissioners. So we run into a pretty big setback at the construction of cell 5. We're 1,700 cubic yards of gravel short. Consai is starting to move their equipment off-site. They've done everything they can do. The liners are in. They're sealed up. We've got to, in fact, let me just give you a picture. You can kind of see what's going on. I didn't know about this till Friday. That's the area that we've got to fill back in with rock. They estimated 42,000 cubic feet, which is a little over 1,500 cubic yards of rock. So I've got to get that done. Where we're at is we got to figure out whether we need to buy it locally or if I can wait to let Rob do it, save some money. Rob is working on trying to get me some prices from local gravel companies, see if we can get that done. With the cell being sealed up and the snow coming, it's not going to change a whole lot as far as when we get it in. The sooner the better, obviously, but I'm still going to have to deal with snow melt all winter long going under cell 4. And we've already had that issue with the rain. It totally filled up under cell 4. And I've been pumping water for the last month, trying to get that water down. That's kind of where we're at. We're going to have to get with you guys, see if we can come up with a kind of a plan. Consai is moving all their big equipment out right now as we speak. This is something we could finish ourselves. We will have to rent equipment, or we could have Consai leave a dozer here if we can get the rock delivered here in the next week or two and have them finish up that little bit and send back, put on the last of the fabric on top. But as far as my budget, unless something major changes, we've got the money to pay Consci off. The end of November, we have just about $500,000 in the bank. And based on the bid with Consci, we still owe them $326,771. So that's the one big issue we're trying to deal with. The other issue that we need to talk with you guys is the food waste rate we need to come up with for the city to start delivering food waste for our composting operations. We've talked about it down there to make it viable and to help people out and get them an incentive to do this. We charge $59, almost $60 a ton for regular MSW. That's where the food waste is going right now, is in the landfill at that rate. So we were thinking if we wanted to charge a rate half that to give them an incentive to bring us clean food waste, but that's a decision we need to sit down and discuss and see if that's something you guys would approve. They want to start getting moving on this. Colby with the city starting to get routes gathered up so we can start moving forward on this food waste project.
Is there gonna be enough food waste to be viable for this to work?
His first load, they're talking about 1,500 pounds.
Okay.
And this is something, as it comes in, it's like what we do with biosolids now because we've got that pad.
Yeah.
So we can have them dump it in a row and we just cover it with wood chips. And as we get enough to make a row, we'll mix it and make it.
Okay.
That's one of the huge advantages of having this new pad that we've got down there. It gives us a lot of leeway on how we can do it. The only issue is the odor, and thankfully everything, the wind blows to the east. And the only house that's close never smells it. We've had that, we got approval back in July for the pad, so we started putting biosolids over there then, and there's been no issues.
Okay.
They bring us a few loads, we get it covered up with wood chips. The one thing that I think we're gonna have an issue with is we're not gonna have enough green waste material to keep up with the biosolids and the food waste. So that's something we may wanna think about, either reducing the rate on that so we can get more in here or something. Because we're not gonna have enough to do all of it, I don't think, with what's coming in. So if we can get together sometime, either this afternoon, first thing in the morning, Rob said he's got a little time, and see if we can come up with something we can tell Consci, work out a plan, whether we're gonna do it, whether we're gonna have them come back and finish it. You're talking, once the gravel's there, it's probably a day's worth of moving the rock. And then Simbec's gotta come in, and you're looking about a day for them to finish. But I'm stuck with the moisture issue no matter what happens.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at the landfill. Oh, with the e-waste event was pretty good. We wound up sending another truck off Friday. So most of the people, I think, were happy with it. There's the budget based on a zero income at the first of the year all the way to the bottom, where we're standing right now. Like I said, we still owe Consci $326,000, almost $327, to finish off the amount on the bid.
Okay.
We're gonna have one small charge added to that. They had to bring in their surveyor on this rock because ours was out of town. So, but everything that's in that picture there is surveyed or is 2 grade. That's where we're at. I don't know how come we're so short on the rock. The bid called for 6,200 cubic yards. Rob delivered on his paperwork 6,786. And I don't know where it disappeared to. I don't know how. Nobody's been in there to do anything. I can't explain it. And I don't know what's going on. We ran into this when we did cell 4. Same thing. And I don't know why. But that's where we're at. I need about 1,600, 1,700 more cubic yards of rock to finish this project.
I'll just chime in. Because we're just here at the workshop, I don't think the board can take action.
Oh, I understand that. I'm just letting them know.
Okay, all right, yep.
All right.
Think we can, so they need it within the next week.
Rob's talking to a couple contractors to see who can get it to us in a price. Until I have that, I've got nothing to bring to you. I need that so I can come talk to you guys and work out a plan from that.
Okay. All right, we'll just wait to hear from you.
It'll be this afternoon or in the morning.
Okay.
I'll
Sounds
just
good.
CC all of you in an email.
Okay.
And Rob said he had a few minutes to come talk tomorrow morning. So we'll see if we can set a time and get with you guys and come up with a plan so we can move forward.
Let's put them on unfinished business. How's that, Travis? Okay.
Yeah, we don't have it on the agenda. We'd need to have it on there 24 hours ahead of time. So if it's timely like this, we might need to have like a special session. Yep. To make a decision on this.
Yeah, whatever you need. Like I said, I didn't know about this till Friday afternoon.
To meet the 24-hour deadline, will you have something for us tomorrow? We can put something on the agenda for, say, 3 o'clock, a special meeting to discuss this.
Okay.
That way we meet our 24 hours and we'll put out another agenda
All right.
just for this topic. Sure. And if we don't get anything, we'll just have the meeting and we don't have any information.
Okay.
Well, if you can't get anything by then, we can maybe come up with something else, but I have an idea, but we'll just see what you all think on it.
Sure.
Okay.
That's all I've got, gentlemen.
All right. Thanks, Mel. Fairgrounds, Justin. Oh, we called the White House a couple of times, but if they come looking for you, don't.
All right. So over the last few months that we've been out there, we had some of our last big events for the year, like the high school rodeo that went good back in September. The car races finished up their year back in September. We always have the annual for Pet Sake yard sale out there, which that was a good year for them again. Jordan World Circus, we had it beginning of October out there. And other than that, it's been a bunch of smaller events that we've kind of run. FFA leadership event was out there in October. And then we had the square dancing event, their cornucopia jamboree. They actually did that out at the Fairgrounds, which was a first for them. Of course, next year they'll probably go back to the annex, but they were having some issues with that because of election time. Fair board meetings have been out there now, so that's just kind of something for everybody to think about. That always happens on the third Monday of the month. Also, county council's been doing their meetings out there the last few months, and we'll continue through December. And then I think they're going to go somewhere else beginning January. And then we've been having our winter practices. So we've been busy with those. Mondays and Fridays we have team roping practices out there. Tuesdays we have high school rodeo. Wednesdays pony club. Thursdays 4-H, and then Sunday is a youth roping event that goes out there. So we still got quite a bit going on a daily basis. They're just not real big. Upcoming, we do got some stuff upcoming through the winter. We did just have our Futures Fair That was December 4th. That's something that the Southwest Colorado Education Collaborative puts on for the high school students to come out and it's kind of a job fair for them. So they're looking at continuing to do that annually out there at the fairgrounds. They've done it the last 2 years. We also have a possible team roping or two coming up in December or January, if I can make that happen. We are going to have a goat tying clinic, which I don't have on the list yet, and that's going to be set for December 28th and 29th. One of the other things that we'll be doing this winter is a weekend in January and a weekend in February. We'll have the 4-States Junior Rodeo. And then the Southwestern Colorado Association Livestock Annual Banquet, they're looking at coming back out to the fairgrounds this February. So they've been at the Elks Lodge this last year, and the year before that they gave us a shot. Now they're looking at coming back out to the fairgrounds to do their banquet. Other than that, we continue, with our weekly evening rentals, and trying to book as much meeting and or commercial kitchen stuff as we can. So, if anybody is interested in renting a room or a kitchen for something, come see me. Other than that, we have just been basically doing winter maintenance stuff. It gives us a chance to kind of get in there and get some of that stuff done on our equipment and whatnot. So repairing rope and chutes or pull behind equipment, anything like that, gives us a chance to kind of work on that stuff and repair it this time of year. We also just got done with our sidewalk project that we bidded out here, I believe it was a couple months ago. They came in and started work on that right at the end of October and got it finished up in the middle of November. And that's kind of a little bit of before and after picture there up on the screen of that east sidewalk. So it is complete and done with that.
That looks good. I'll have to get out there and take a check, see what it looks like.
Yeah, no, it turned out nice. So I know we're looking at trying to do a little bit of asphalt work on that in the future there at that parking lot on the east side and around wrapping to the north side, and maybe a little bit more sidewalk work on a couple other areas. So I am now trying to see if I can't get somebody to come take a look at that and give some advice and or some engineering that we can get done for doing the rest of that project. I know that we want to kind of maybe do there. So as soon as I get some word on that, I'll be passing that your guys' way.
Okay,
Other than that, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. So.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Emergency manager, plus a mitigation plan grant proposal discussion.
Afternoon, Commissioner. Stephen, Mr. Anderson. Might as well sit here because I think the hazard mitigation plan's coming up. You all got the copy of my November report?
Yes.
Short and sweet. We're just gonna spend a lot of time now doing more plans, winter time. Keeping an eye on 491, 160, all that kind of fun stuff. We had a lot of trainings, a lot of exercises in November. The grants are going right through just fine, getting the money back from EMPG. Still working on the communication tower fencing. And we got a lot of smaller grants, no match required, through either the All Hazards Council and then various odds and ends that we have. So it's pretty short and sweet. And that's less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
Any questions on November?
No.
Or December?
No.
I wake you all up on emergency messaging?
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
Want to make sure it's going out.
Yeah, it got out. 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's when it was open,
Yeah.
finally, yeah. Some semis.
Yeah.
So I'm good. Do you want to go right into the hazard mitigation plan?
Have at it.
Okay. I'll let this gentleman explain some of the stuff we've been doing.
So the last time that the emergency manager brought this grant before you guys, you had asked about doing an RFP for the grant. We spoke with the Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, the Colorado Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, and what the conclusion of that is that if we were to do that RFP, it would be a violation of federal procurement rules because we'd be doing it in advance of the grant, which would then disqualify any of the bidders. So rather than doing that and disqualifying all of the local and regional bidders, likely costing us more in the long run, what the emergency manager did is put together a survey of all of the recent HMPG grants that have been done in similar counties in Colorado. And that includes Mesa, Delta, Elbert, Garfield, and then we also included the 2019 project that Montezuma County did. One of the things I did want to highlight is the increased cost. A lot of it is due to increased community outreach requirements as part of this, as part of an HMPG, as part of a hazard mitigation plan that FEMA is requiring now that they didn't require 5 years ago. So that is significant additional consulting time. And then I'll let the emergency manager go into a little more detail of the ask, but at a base level, the total grant is going up, but the additional cash match requirement that the emergency manager is asking for is a total of $810 to increase this grant to a number that we think we can get a consultant for. Obviously, it'll get bid once we secure the grant from the Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, and we'll take the lowest best bid, like we do on all of our projects.
An $810 match, that's,
Yeah, well, and then I, of course, called several emergency managers. You get what you pay for. The one in there, the smaller one, 67,000. They're not happy. They're spending a lot of time trying to catch up with all the requirements. So it looked around 80, 89. Looking at, I got to get this submitted by, I think it's March 10th, and that'll be fine. Just, I got to know what my budget is, do the scope of work, all that paperwork. And then the brick money that we're utilizing for this, we'll be spending 2024 money, and the award won't come in until until November, if that. So with that far out, a year out, instead of going for 89 or 90, I'm looking at a contract cost at 100, and then the total grant's 115. I've got it here. On the 115,955. The total project cost for matching funds is 28,990. But we're looking at the in-kind went up because we're going to have more people showing up, and it's based on wages and volunteer stuff. So it's at almost 16,000. So the actual cash that we've got to submit is 13,000 and some change. So it didn't overly affect our cash match, so that was nice. So we're just requesting, I've got this to sign for tomorrow, if you so approve it. But then we can move forward. And we mentioned this before, the hazard mitigation plan is based on the entire county. So City of Cortez, they have 8 different mitigations that they wanted to do. The town of Dolores had some, which they've already completed, so they got the 75-25 match on theirs, the generator, the siren. Mancos Water, Conservancy District did a 5,000 planning grant, and they're now doing about a $170,000 grant based on that hazard mitigation plan. And then we did one for the generators. And again, we don't want to have to come up with any more money in November like we had to do with the generators. So we're trying to get this plugged in, and that's where we're at now. And it's going to help. And the hazard mitigation plan, as we mentioned, there's a lot of stuff in there that FEMA requires, but the basic part of it helps us acquire all these grants and helps us, build the community. Planning grants, equipment, implementation grants, infrastructure grants, all that stuff. So it's very helpful, and it's got to be done every 5 years. If it it's close to expiring, but if I get the grant going, then they're going to allow us to use their funding to build the plan. If it expires before then, like a certain county I know, don't ask me why, but they will not fund an expired plan. You have to have a plan, and then they'll fund it when it's time to redo it. So we don't want to go there either. So that's kind of where we're at.
All right. Any questions, Gerald? Great. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, and the EOP signing tomorrow.
Is that right?
To remember, yeah, I got it right here. Yeah. That was part of my report. Thanks, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you. All right, the MOU with the Bureau of Land Management for the Lamb House Trail.
I think I'll take this one up. This is something James Dietrich raised with me when we were here during a previous report from his department. I think already towards the end of the summer, there was some discussion about this, that there's this property down by Canyons of the Ancients called the Lamb House. I think there's some pictures of it at the bottom of this document, but it's pretty close to an existing, maybe not. It's pretty close to an existing parking lot down there off of Road G. And commissioners, you may be familiar with the road, but it's a pretty tight road down there, and there's some boulders and things like that on the side. So there was this idea that it would be good to put in a pedestrian trail, because I think the BLM wants to highlight like some of the historic values of the property, is kind of my understanding. And they want to make it safe for people to get over there, that they're not just walking on the road. And it's in the county right away. It's really why the county is implicated. So James Dietrich and I put together this MOU just to formalize this agreement if we're going to let the Bureau of Land Management build this pedestrian trail in our right-of-way potentially, that we just wanted it to be in writing that nothing's changing any kind of rights anybody has as far as the ability to maintain the road in the right-of-way. We're not giving up anything in the right-of-way. So this is a pretty simple MOU that basically says that the county would be on board with the pedestrian trail being constructed, that the county's not agreeing to build the pedestrian trail, that that's up to the Bureau of Land Management, and that nobody's losing or gaining any rights that exist before the building of this pedestrian trail. So I worked together with James Dietrich to put this together. We sent it over to the Bureau of Land Management. They have signed it, and it would just need to be signed tomorrow for the board to enter into that agreement and give the go-ahead to the BLM to start working on this and making that trail. Any questions about it?
I don't. Gerald, you have anything?
No, I don't. It'll be a good thing, actually,
Yeah.
get them off the edge of the road, because they do. Because there's two parking lots, that's, between that, just,
It crowds right up there, doesn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
just not much room there.
Yeah.
If they get something fixed so people can't get off the road, it'll be better. That's for sure.
All right.
Great.
All right. Last but not least, we have some janitorial bids from our maintenance guy, Dustin.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
Good, you?
Good, thanks.
So we called references on all the new bidders from this year, and they all checked out well. I'm recommending we go with the low bidder everywhere but the Montezuma County Combined Courts. We had a little incident earlier this year, and they would expect, they wouldn't like them to be back in their building, the low bidder, so that's the only thing I have that's not
Yeah,
for the low bid.
I thought that, but I wanted to ask you about that because I've seen that difference.
And then if you want me to come in tomorrow, when you make decisions, I can.
I don't think you'll need to come in tomorrow.
I think we can.
This is pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
but again, the courthouse is, well, probably need to
Yeah,
move past that a little bit.
you have any questions, Gerald? Takes a lot to clean a courthouse, doesn't it?
It's a big building. So 30,000 and some square feet.
30,000?
About half of it's carpet. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot behind the scenes back there. so.
Yeah.
All right, we can do this tomorrow and have at it.
Okay.
Appreciate all your work.
I do have a question. They understand what the contract entails, all right?
Yeah, and I need to get with the attorney here and look at that contract a little better. I'll send you an email.
Okay. Oh, thanks.
Do
I'll
we
look at
need
it.
to hold off?
I haven't talked to Dustin, so I don't know what the questions are. I guess I could tell you tomorrow, not to sign them. Is there a time pressure on getting this done?
It's just whatever we take them for next year, whenever
Okay.
we sign the contract. I
Well,
just want to put something in there for.
Why don't we
if they
hold
don't-
off a week and you look at the contracts and let us know,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah, I'll be able to do that.
I'll get him the contracts and then explain what I'd like to do.
Okay,
All right.
just to be,
We want to make sure we're getting the services of what we're paying for.
yes.
Yeah. And there's like nothing wrote into it
Okay,
for us, to protect us. Well, there is, but not financially wise.
yeah.
So,
Get with Steve and let us know,
all right.
Okay.
okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you.
Anything else to come before the board today? Nothing? We are adjourned.